Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, have we got a very important treat for you guys, and a very special one in store, because we are doing Black Sabbath's Hole in the Sky. We are paying our much needed return to quite possibly one of the most important rock/metal groups of all time. Because there's a very particular song on this, which is... Actually, I think it is Symptom of the Universe, which is... If we were to say, like, Kinks was the origin point of metal back in 1963 or thereabouts, stuff like Symptom of the Universe, it elevated. It's sort of like the next rung on the ladder. And then it would go... If we're going to talk about British groups specifically, it would be like Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, and quite possibly stuff like... oh god, what was that one? Hollow Point? No, it's not Hollow Point, it's... Oh, Jesus. By the time we get to it, I'll know exactly what it is, because if the second somebody... I'll tell you what, I'll do one better. I'll see if I could... You know what, it's so unimportant that I do not even know why I'm even attempting to look for it, because it is so completely unessential that I do not even know why I'm even searching for it, because it'll be interesting to know, especially, well, if I could ever find the damn thing. Well, Candlemas. That's what I was looking for. Candlemas. Yeah, probably some of you will be probably looking at me going now, really? Sabbath, Maiden, Candlemas? Is that really what we're talking about when we say the next level? I mean, realistically, you could say Sabbath, Priest... No, actually, you could say Sabbath, Maiden, Priest, then Candlemas. I've got to include Priest in there somewhere. And... Oh, but where the hell would you put Motorhead, though? Like, Motorhead... Okay. Sabbath, Motorhead, Maiden, Priest, then Candlemas. So, to avoid, any further conflicts in the comments down below, we're just going to get straight into this. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, imagine me saying we're going to get straight into this, and then I just completed a whole rant about absolutely nothing important. That happens far too often, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry about that. So let's begin. Hole in the Sky. In 3, 2, 1, and... Actually, just before, we need to... Oh, that's far too low. That's it. Now we can begin. I'm generally curious as to whether or not I could accurately define this as feel-good metal. Because you know what? I feel like that I feel good about this. It's a strange blend of gentle, but it's got like just enough of a kick into it. Like chicken tikka or a chicken tandoori. It's not... Vindaloo or, jalfrezi or anything like that, but it's sort of a little bit more of a punch than a chicken korma. And I love my curries, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And the further we get into Sabotage, there's plenty of hot stuff to go around. Don't get me wrong.
I'm getting closer to the end of the line.
Yeah! Anyway, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was Hole in the Sky by Black Sabbath. I don't know if it's just like a combination of just going so long without listening to Black Sabbath, because they are still, like I said, one of the most important proggy rock metal groups out there. I'm saying metal as in like a very... There were certain examples where you could absolutely tell they're going for a bit of a harder approach, but some things like Hole in the Sky, and by the time we get to talk stuff like Heaven and Hell, for example, they obviously have got a really lovely groove to them. That's how I think that I didn't necessarily, when I talked about Sabotage the first time, did I describe it as groovy. In fact, can you really describe Black Sabbath as groovy? It doesn't seem... You would describe Jim Morrison or Jimi Hendrix as groovy, but you wouldn't really describe Ozzy Osbourne or Geezer Butler as groovy. Also, speaking of Geezer Butler, there's a strange thing people have about this song. They say that there's a combination of things going on, like somebody who's in prison, somebody who's about to die, somebody who is just sort of like on the outside looking in. I've seen the stars disappear in the sun, but shooting's easy if you've got the right gun. And even though I'm sitting waiting for Mars, I don't believe there's any future in cars. Possibly does he... And this is... Does he think that, you know, the idea of, you know, prosperity and, you know, industrialism is all a good thing? Because I'm trying to think to myself whether or not... I don't want to say, you know, the war in Vietnam was going on at the same time, because I don't 100% know the facts about the Vietnam War, but there were plenty of songs written about the Vietnam War, so why would it not make any sense for Black Sabbath to perhaps do their own, like, mini, like, take on it? I mean, let's face it, rock, metal groups, pop groups as well have been making songs that are politically fueled and charged for decades, so why exactly can we not have Black Sabbath doing the same? All about different things, ladies and gentlemen, as well, as time progresses and all that sort of thing. I've actually, now that I've had the chance to like listen to this and go through this a bit clearer, I've had a suspicion that perhaps that there's one of two options I have about the song, and it's through, the first is through the chorus: hole in the sky, gateway to heaven, window in time, through it I'll fly. What if, like, the first lines, like hole in the sky or gateway to heaven, these basically describe these verses? For example, window in time, I've seen the stars disappear in their sun, but shooting's easy if you got the right gun. Window in time, we look through a window. Time, how does that song go? Keeping alive with the world going by my window. Taking my time. We are on the other side. In case you're wondering where that was inspired by a Beatles song called I'm Only Sleeping, where John Lennon basically says, well, I'm just going to stay in bed and I'm just going to watch the world. I'm going to like pull up a chair and just sort of like, you know what, the world could do what it wants. I'm much more satisfied sleeping. And maybe that's it, it's window in time and he's literally letting life go by him. And even though I'm sitting waiting for Mars, is he waiting for us to go to Mars, or is he waiting for the Martians to come to us? It's an idea of waiting, but if we're going to be waiting that long, we'd probably be waiting till we're dead, because it's not going to happen unless we do anything about it. I mean, we see a hole in the sky, but what do we do about it? Do we go up there? Or do we let it do what it wants? Or does it even matter? And you could put the same thing through a hole in the sky. I'm looking through a hole in the sky. I'm seeing nowhere through the eyes of a lie. Like, is it a lie? Is it just like a big hole in perhaps all of us? Like we're living some kind of lie. I'm getting closer to the end of the line because, well, we all know it's a lie anyway, so why even bother trying to put up with it? I'm living easy where the sun doesn't shine. He's talking about being dead because he sort of realised everything is a lie, nothing makes sense. Ta-ta. So a hole in the sky, maybe a hole in your head, perhaps. I mean, there's plenty of ways you can tackle the song, and I like the idea of the chorus. My sort of chorus idea, like through it I'll fly, for example. I've watched the dogs of war enjoying their feast. I've seen the Western world go down in the East. The food of love became the greed of our time, and now we're living on the profits of crime. He's confronting this, and you know what? He'll fly. He's taking off. He's leaving because he realizes what a shithole of a world this is. So he thought, you know what? I'll just fly away. Maybe, well, knowing Ozzy, he may be going out to find the dragon or probably race it for all we know. Now that's just one thing. The second idea I've had is that whether or not the verses or even just the individual lines are supposed to be like a story told out of order. Like the story is supposed to end with, I'm living easy where the sun doesn't shine. Well, okay, a hole in the sky, perhaps a hole in his head, and then it's like we're going backwards in the story, like I'm living in a room without any view, he's incarcerated, he's in a mental institution. Okay, so we've gone from death, mental institution, I've seen the stars that disappear in the sun. He's now outside, he's talking about being free, he's talking about, I don't believe there's any future in cars. Well, if he doesn't believe in like the future of like prosperity and, you know, industrial, so he'll be the complete opposite. And he says this himself, shooting is easy if you've got the right gun. Perhaps he was arrested for a mass shooting that he did. Possibly. And then he started rambling stuff about gateway to heaven, window in time. And then it goes straight up into, I've watched the dogs of war enjoying their feast. Perhaps he was a part of it. Maybe this was the tale of a soldier, sort of realised that he was part of this dirty industrial machine that's forcing young men to kill each other. What is democracy, they say? Young men killing each other. I've still not seen Johnny Got His Gun, but I feel like I might have to, because it's owned by Metallica as well. That's always a wonderful detail there. And now we're living off the profits of crime, and so that's what he'll turn to. This is all a rough idea, by the way, but because there are some pretty obvious objections to the sort of things I'm saying, nonetheless, it sort of links into why the title of this album is called Sabotage. We've been betrayed. We've been betrayed as something we're not, or we are part of a system that lies to us constantly. And yet it does so blatantly. I mean, the album cover is Ward, Iommi, Geezer, and Ozzy standing in front of a mirror, and in the mirror is just reflections of them. It's ready to stab them in the back. That's what it is. But obviously it can't, because the system represented by the mirror just forces them. It's just an idea. So are we being betrayed, or are we being betrayed by the fact that we think we are being betrayed. We are double think, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's called double think. Wow, I've read 1984 multiple times, like 4 years ago, and I'm only now just starting to use the phrase. Oh dear. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, depending on your interpretation, I think we could at least agree on that this was super, super well done. It absolutely is one of Sabbath's greatest, possibly. That's a bit difficult to say because of what's coming next. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and you're about to see exactly why. Not bad for a 46-year-old album too. Puts things into perspective. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Hole in the Sky for yourselves by Black Sabbath. And I will hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.